Yo, I don't know what happened there, man. I was in the middle of talking about Will Smith and it just got shut down. I'm sad. I'm really sad. I don't think anybody was here, so it doesn't matter. But let's continue, man. Let's continue the conversation because it is very important. So, like I was saying, 1996, 97. We got a young Tyler who loved Men in Black. Loved it. Will Smith was his hero. Next out, St. John, the original Red Ranger, and Val Kilmer, the second, I guess you say third Batman, or fifth. If you want to count the serials, if you want to count Adam West, fifth. But if you just want to count in that universe, he'd be the second. Second Batman. But those were my childhood heroes that I can remember. I might have said somebody else was my hero at the time, and like I'm blanking. But I wanted to be like Will Smith. Now, fast forward, I started getting some music. I remember going on a trip to Kansas City to see my great aunt. And I remember right before we left, I had picked up, this is when Born to Rain, and I think I picked, it was Born to Rain. Born to Rain just came out. And I had one of those portable CD players with the headphones. And on the car ride all the way up to Kansas City, I was playing Born to Rain in my headphones. Had no idea what some of these songs meant. And I was making stories. I mean, this is where my musical theater writing came from. I give a lot of props to Jonathan Larson because it's true. Without him, I wouldn't have gone that initiative and created some of the things I've created now. But back in the day, I would just hear songs on the radio and be like, there's a story there. I'm going to act it out. So, like, there's a song called I Can't Stop, Baby, Don't Hold Me Back. Do, 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 do. I can't stop. Clearly that's like a love making song. Like dang, I'm about to turn it up. Young me is like, I can't stop. Like this dude's clearly like in a club. I got that. I understood that, but like it was like something was happening to him. Like I can't stop. Like he's like fighting everybody. Like something was going on. Like in my head that's what was created. And that kept happening. Like there was a song I wanted to perform at school, but I wasn't allowed to. And it was all about him like cheating on Jada at the time. Like he didn't cheat on Jada from what I understand, but like the song was like he was working in Jamaica and there was a girl in Jamaica who just kept following him, and like he started to get feelings. He like loving Jamaica, but I gotta go home. Yeah, like he was like, no, I can't do this. And that's funny looking at where we are now. But yeah, man. So there was something with his music, and then Lost and Found came out, and I remember I was a little bit older, and I went to the mall with my my stepmom, and I had just gotten money from my grandparents for Christmas, and I loaded up, man. I loaded up. It was only like $100, but you gotta keep in mind this is like early 2000s, so $100 that got you a lot of stuff then. So I'm at the mall. We had a store in our mall that had pleather jackets. They had like fake Letterman jackets. They had very very cheap clothes, like $10. Everything was like $10. And so I went and I bought me two Letterman jackets that I wanted because I saw kids at school had these exact same things. I went to FYE when it was still open the first time in our mall. It's now open again, which I haven't been to, which I need to. But I went there. I got Will Smith's album. I think I picked up a couple other things, and I remember putting that, and that was a different experience. And I still say to this day, Lost and Found being his last album was his strongest album, and that's gonna sound weird, and people have come at me and said that's wrong, because it's still popcorn and this and that. And he talks about that. The thing with Lost and Found was him like basically calling out the haters. There was some like vibe songs, like summertime. Like he references that in a song called I Wish I Would Have Made That. Um, and honestly, I kind of want to go through and I want to react to the album and just kind of give my thoughts on each track without getting without getting in trouble for like copyright. But I would love to break it down and just kind of give my thoughts on it, because people tend to like dismiss Will Smith as a rapper. My big brother Tony does. I talked to him about it one time. I said, he's like, man, Kanye is the greatest rapper of all time, and I'm like, I love me some Will Smith. Nah, Will Smith ain't no rapper. He loves hip hop. But they're like, hey, Will, we got a movie. Will you write a song? Sure, I'll write a song. But he ain't no rapper. And I'm like, Will Smith had to walk in order for Kanye to run. That's how I look at that. That's how I look at that, man. Will Smith was the first rapper to win a Grammy. And people tend to dismiss that. You know, he did a lot for music. But I digress. So that is where my hip hop influence comes from. And then Lin-Manuel Miranda comes down the line later on. I'm out of high school, and you know, In the Heights. Man, first off, I got to talk about that real quick. In the Heights is so much better than Hamilton. I have to tell you that right now. In the Heights is such a better story. It's better written. It's actually something. I'm not talking about the movie. I'm not talking about the movie that came out last year. I'm talking about the 2008 Broadway musical In the Heights that starred Lin-Manuel Miranda and Christopher Jackson. That is what I'm talking about. People tend to dismiss that show because they forget about it. Only reason why Hamilton blew up is because it was a rap show about a not even a president. He was a founding father, but he wasn't even a president. Yo. It was good. It's got good songs. Wait For It's one of my favorite songs. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. I love Wait For It. There's times where like I'll be in the mood, a Reynolds pamphlet will like come in my head. You know, like Alexander Hamilton had a torrid affair and he wrote it down right there. Highlight. Like it's really good. But Hamilton had a story that was already laid out. You're basically taking a real man's story and just throwing hip hop music into it, because Lynn was like, hey, hip hop music, it fits Alexander Hamilton. And he wasn't wrong. And I'm not ever going to say he was wrong. What I'm going to say is it's not 100% the truth. There were things that he switched to fit the narrative of a show. I understand you have to do that. In fact, I've had this conversation with my wife. My wife agrees with me. She hates the musical. Like, she thinks it's good, but she hates it because Alexander Hamilton is so ambitious that my wife's all about family. She's all about family to a certain extent. If my family saw this, they'd be like, are you sure about that? My wife is all about like your kids and your wife, like your immediate family. If you don't take care of them, then what's the point of having them? And Alexander financially took care of his family, but he messed up a lot because he was so focused on leaving a legacy, when the fact that he already had a legacy in his kids and his wife, he screwed up a lot. But we had talked about this. And the fact is, Hamilton is his own villain in the show. Like the beginning song is like, we fought with him. Me, I died for him. Me, I trusted him. Me, I loved him. And me, I'm the damn fool that shot him. The thing is, Aaron Burr is the hero of Hamilton. And I'll tell you why. We'll get back to Will Smith here in a minute. But there's a reason for this, because I got on a tangent. Aaron Burr is the straight man. Aaron Burr is the one who was living his life the way he lived it. He kept to himself. He was just trying to make it. Yeah, he kept getting dismissed. Aaron Burr is me and you. Aaron Burr is an everyday man. He gets dismissed at work. Someone who's a little bit more ambitious gets favored. A little bit more talkative gets favored. And so this goes on for a while. And he tells himself, I'm going to wait for it. I found love, found a wife, had a daughter. Wife died. And eventually, I realized Hamilton's got all this. Maybe I got to change who I am. So he started to change things, and it pissed Hamilton off because Hamilton started to realize, wait a minute, he stole my playbook. That's all it was. That's all it is. That's the whole reason for this fight. If Hamilton would have just accepted the fact that Burr was becoming ambitious, because Hamilton was ambitious, because he wanted to be with, and well, look at it too, in the narrative of the show. Now, I don't know about real life. I love history, but I'm not going to delve, like, deep dive into it to just kind of figure out the psychology of it. But from the show, it was like, my friend won't stop growing. I'm back here behind. I'm going to do something about it. So what does he do? He stops waiting for it, and he just goes for it. He just goes for it. And yeah, it goes against his father-in-law. His father-in-law was getting old. Let's get some new blood in there. He gets in there. And that's really all he did. Like, yeah, he was a part of the whole thing of, like, finding out, about Reynolds and, Mariah Reynolds and, like, the whole affair. But that was more of a Jefferson, like, Madison thing than I feel like it was a Burr thing. And Burr was there. But again, Burr is that third party that, like, Madison and Jefferson were like, hey, I mean, cool. You want to, like, be a part of it? Or they gave him the controller that wasn't plugged in. That's how I imagine it. It's like they're playing a game. Little brother comes in, hey, I want to play. Give him the unplugged controller. Just make him happy. And like that's what it is. And then when we get to the election of 1800, Burr's running for it, and because Burr thinks he can do it. He's like, man, I was ambitious. Hamilton's, he's kind of out of the way. I'm gonna do this, man. People like me. And if it wasn't for Hamilton, Burr would have won. And our country would have been a different story. I'm not saying that it should have went that route. Jefferson did what he did. But if you look at it from that perspective, because then let's flip it and what did Hamilton do? Also, I'm going to say this on Hamilton, so let me go back to Burr. Burr did have an affair, but she ended up leaving her husband for him, and they had a daughter and whatnot. Hamilton didn't, and Burr was in love with her. Hamilton was not in love with this woman. So let's look at the narrative of the villain, okay, or the hero, the main character of the story. Alexander Hamilton started from the bottom. He was an orphan, a bastard, son of a whore, and a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of the forgotten spot in the Caribbean. That's who. I will get back to Will Smith. I promise. But this is just a thought. I just want to run this is psychology of Hamilton real quick. So he gets a collective. The where he lives, they collect some money so he can get on a ship and head to the mainland because they see there's promise in him. Great. It's a great start to a hero's journey. When he gets to New York is when the hero's journey dies. He gets to New York, and he then meets Aaron Burr. He's like, man, I've heard so much about you. I want to know more about you. Like, let's be friends. And Burr's like, okay, well, here's the thing, man. I'm gonna give you some advice. He's like, yeah, whatever, man. You tell me what's the advice. Keep your thoughts to yourself. What? Yeah, man, just keep your thoughts to yourself. It doesn't, like, yeah, I'm definitely for the revolution and everything, but like we don't want to be yelling at. Like, keep your composure. Keep your game face. Trust me. Nah, F all that, man. No, we need to start it today. And then he meets John Lawrence, Hercules Mulligan, Lafayette in the show. And if I remember correctly, like he met them all at different times. But in the show, they're all together in the pub. And they hit it off. And you can tell three of them, they don't like Burr. And Hamilton's like, man, well, Burr's my friend. Like, look, man, like, if you stand for nothing, man, what do you want to fall for? Like, why do you want to keep it a secret? And so he starts singing, not throwing away my shot, and like have this big old moment. And it's just like they're hyping him up. They're hyping him up, and so he gets his head. From that moment in the show, that boy is like, I am God. Hi Anthony. I'm not even talking about Batman at the moment, but all right. Totally disagree with you on that. 100% disagree with you on that. Well, we will talk about that. I like Michael Keaton. Don't get me wrong. He's a great actor. Fantastic. You have to be honest with yourself when going back to those movies. Those movies had nothing to do with Bruce. Absolutely nothing to do with Bruce. Bruce was in them. And he was like this, because you saw the world of Bruce Wayne through other characters. Like, you saw the world of, man, I was talking about Hamilton, damn it. You saw the world of Bruce Wayne through other characters. And, wait, did it not change the title? What? Hold on, what title is it? Is it who's the best Batman? That was last episode. Dang it. All right, well, it is what it is. That was the last time I streamed. It was supposed to, I had an issue and it changed everything. So now, no, but real quick, I'll jump back to Hamilton, then I'll go back to Will Smith because I've gotten way on tangents now. It's all from the perspective of other people. We're going through Vicky Vale and Knox in the, in Wayne Manor, and they're talking about Bruce Wayne, and then he finally walks up. And we're getting to know this world. Yeah, there's moments where Bruce is by himself and we see him, but it's really an outsider's perspective every time. That's why I've never been a fan of Batman movies that focus on the characters around him rather than him. Again, I like Keaton. You have to understand, I love Michael Keaton. Great actor. Anything you give him, he will deliver. It's all in the writing, though. To say that he has the best balance of Bruce and Batman, I think is just because he did very well at acting as both of them. But narratively, we didn't get to see him go through anything. Honestly, it was, in a sense, the 89 Batman was Joker and Vicky Vale's story, and he was just kind of there. He was Batman, and Gotham got to know Batman. And then we get to Returns, it's Cobblepot's story, man. Like, half the movie is us following Cobblepot, and then the birth of Catwoman. And Bruce is there, but Bruce is just having to solve things. It wasn't until Batman Forever when we really got a deep dive into who Bruce Wayne is, and even then they cut a good chunk of that out of that movie. But that is my thing, because I love the psychology of Batman, and the fact that we don't get that because Tim Burton wanted to make this like very gothic looking reality, and it was more about the visuals and like this dark, warped creature in the night. It wasn't about the man, and that's why I love the Nolan films so much, is because it takes a deep dive into, correction, that's why I love Batman Begins so much, because it's a Bruce Wayne story. It is a yo, dude, I would love it. I tried to do that with my friend Jordan, and we got through 89 and we talked about it. Then we didn't go back to any of the other ones, and I really wanted to. Sure. But that's where I love the Nolan ones, is because, again, Batman Begins, because it really takes a deep dive into Bruce and who he is as a man. Kind of with a little bit with the Dark Knight, but not wholly. Like that's definitely a everyone else story, and Batman's there, and then it's heavily there with The Dark Knight Rises. That is a movie that features Batman, but isn't about Batman. It is about Bruce, especially in the pit, but it's not. I wouldn't necessarily call The Dark Knight Rises a Batman movie. But we will get to Batman in a second. I was doing a deep dive of Hamilton. It doesn't matter. Basically, in a sense, Hamilton's a villain. Burr is the hero who goes through the tragic journey. Hamilton starts at the bottom, rises, And then when he's caught, when he's at a point where he can't go anymore, he initially kills himself, making our hero the bad guy, having the tragic story. Burr, orphan as well, but not as bad, goes through life quiet, just trying to make it by, trying to be the everyday man. Wants to succeed, but keeps getting shut down. It's okay. He keeps going. And then his friend passes him by, kind of slaps him in the face. So he's like, well, I'm going to try to do what he's doing. And then, bam. The minute he starts doing it, his friend gets mad because he's starting to get overshadowed. The dude legitimately says, you ran against my father-in-law. He said, you would have done the same thing. I saw the opportunity. I was going to take it. I didn't hurt anybody. And that's where it's just kind of like, again, Hamilton is a dick. But going back to Will Smith, and I'm going back, and then that way we can move forward onto Batman. What I was saying was Will Smith's music kind of launched me going into storytelling through music, and then Lin-Manuel Miranda kind of came and made it better. Neither one had an effect like Jonathan Larson did on me, but it was the start of my love for hip-hop. Anywho, point is, movies keep coming out. He's doing his thing. He has some flops. I Am Legend was a big thing for me in high school. It was one of my favorite movies. I tried to emulate his character, like in my wardrobe, for a while there. Like that's how much of a fanboy I was, and yeah, it really kind of came across a different way. I would like to, if it would let me, I would love to change some things about this stream. I don't know. I wish it would let me, but it's not going to, is it? No, I don't think it's going to. All right, no, just please go there. Thank you. But yeah, so Will Smith has always been, and then when Men in Black 3 came out, like I grabbed all my friends. I'm like, we're going to the midnight premiere of this movie, and they're like, all right, and we show up like 4 hours early. Nobody's there, and no, you missed that conversation. I was saying his last album, Lost and Found, was the greatest album he's ever written. Not Millennium or Big Willie style. Everybody loves those albums, but he took his feelings to the microphone in Lost and Found. But that's besides the point. But anyways, so Will Smith helped a lot in my development as a creative, and now I'm reading his autobiography, which I'm learning a lot from. I watched his mini documentary about himself. I saw him mentally break in that several times, and that was very recently. So people have to understand, Will is not in a mental state where it's not like he's crazy. He's just going through a lot, and he's trying to process it. He's also and I'm sorry, like in my opinion, he's in a loveless marriage. He's in a marriage that's very toxic. He's with a woman who is very toxic and has control over him, and is using the fact that she sleeps with other men to control him. Because yes, they are in an open marriage. It's something they've talked about, but I don't believe Will really believes in that. I believe it's hard on him. And the fact is, Jada's only doing it because in her mind, she's not getting what she deserves. Will has said many times that to be happy. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. I love Men in Black 2. It gets so much crap, but I love that. I love the movie. I love 3. I think it goes 1, 3, 2, but I love 2. Thanks, man. But yeah, I totally forgot what I was saying because I read the comments. But basically he is in a marriage where he's being controlled and manipulated because she's out here sleeping with other men, and the jokes, the memes are truthful, even though they're hurtful. They're truthful. Like I saw him. We all saw him in that video clip. He was laughing at the joke. She didn't think it was funny, and next thing you know, he's standing up there, And I imagine like he goes up there like, Chris, I'm sorry, Jada made me do it, and like slapped. Then walks back smiling, and then keep your mouth or keep my wife's name out your mouth. So it's I 100% believe he only did it because he was and my friend Sam said he thinks he was doing it to prove to himself, and he could have been doing that too. But I think his wife had a lot to do with the fact why he went up there and hit his friend, because him and Chris Rock are friends. Like they are friends. Now, granted, Chris has made jokes about them before. I heard them, I've seen it, but not to the extent where this needs to be a thing. There was a 2006. So, yes, 3. I actually like Selena. Selena, what was her name? Serlina. I think it was Serlina. I actually like the villain in 2. I think the story was better in 3. And I agree with you. There wasn't enough Tommy Lee Jones in it. I love Tommy Lee Jones. Like, him and Will Smith have the best chemistry. So I can see where you're coming from. That's why I love 2, is because of that chemistry, and it's flipped. You know, Will Smith is the straight man, whereas Tommy Lee Jones is the outsider, and it's great. I didn't hear about Diddy, but I did hear that Chris and Will are fine. I heard they have talked about it in a sense, but I've also heard that Chris said he's still processing everything. I know Will apologized, but yeah, I don't know, man. Again, I truly believe that Jada is the problem. And you can see, and then there's been video showing that Jada laughed whenever Will slapped Chris. So it's a power play. It's 100% a power play. There was a joke earlier on where Regina Hall was like calling up all these guys for a COVID test. It was a joke, but she said, "Will, I know you're married, but I think Jada will be fine if you come up here." And Jada laughed at that. But a G.I. Jane joke, you know, about someone wanting to sleep with your husband is okay, but a G.I. Jane joke is definitely not okay in her mind. And I get she's going through issues. You know, she's got I forgot what it's called, but she's losing her hair. That's why she's got it shaved. I read that too. I read Chris was like, "Hey, I've got this material set up for a while. I'm not talking about Will Smith in my show. Maybe down the line." No, that makes total sense. I think that is why his ticket sales went up. Is because I think people wanted to hear his reaction. He's like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm here to do my show," and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be like, "Well, guys, I'm on my tour now, and we're gonna be talking about Will Smith slapping the crap out of me." You know, and it's sad. It's really sad, but I mean that's really my opinion, and I think people need to let it go. As I was talking to my friend Sam about, like it happened, it was dumb. Movie like this, yeah, it was a dumb joke. It was a very dumb joke, and it was a dumb reaction that should have just been let go. It really should have just been let go. Like I don't think the joke was needed. And I've also heard that Chris didn't even write the joke. It was written by people backstage, and then the reaction wasn't needed. And I wish Will would realize he doesn't need Jada to survive. Jada doesn't give him anything. In fact, while I was watching his documentary, Jada was barely in it. He was gone. He was in another country filming this thing to lose weight, to better himself, and Jada had nothing to do with the process. She was like in one episode, and they talked about his body in iRobot, and that was it. Like, Jada has nothing to do with the man. Like 100% has nothing to do with her husband, but yet go defend me because this guy made a stupid joke about a movie that came out years ago about like it's stupid. It's really stupid. But yeah. So, in my opinion, and I'm just going to leave it here, the slap shouldn't have happened. The joke shouldn't have been written or said, and it should have been something else, or it should have just been left to where it was. And they're friends. They should talk about it. But hey, man, Chris, hey, what was up with that? Oh, well, I didn't write it. Okay, well, I understand now. Will did apologize. Chris is still going through it apparently, but we as a country, we as a people, we as a world need to just let it go, because we don't talk about other things. So, yeah, I think it's very much, it's a possibility, just because back in November a video surfaced of Will Smith teaching a kid how to fake slap, like stage slap, and you can tell when he slapped Chris that, unless he hit him that hard, like that was definitely a stage slap. Like the Oscars have been failing. I mean, they had Amy Schumer there. I mean, think about that. The Oscars have been failing, and it makes sense. You're gonna have the best actor of like the year slap one of the hosts, one of the presenters, and one that's his friend. Work together. Chris needs to sell tickets. Oscars need views. Will Smith needs to be in the media. Because after King Richard, he's not doing anything from what I understand. So I can see it. I mean, I could see it, but at the same time, I just find it funny that if it was intentional by the Oscars, I feel like Will wouldn't have. I feel like Will's a better actor, to where he wouldn't have laughed at the joke. I think he would have sat there all smug like, all brooding, and then that way he went up there and it made this big old thing. But the fact that he laughed and then went up there, that tells me it's real, and that Jada got upset. Now, another thought. No one's thought about this. This one is way out there. It's stretching really bad. What if Will had no idea? Now think about it. They write the joke backstage. Chris has no idea, but they tell Jada, right? They're like, okay, look, Jada, we need some ratings, okay? Don't tell Will, but we're gonna write a joke. Here's the joke. We want you to get a little bit upset about it to make Will go up there and do something. So, they write the joke. They write the joke. They go up there. Or Chris goes out there, says what he's going to say, and then shortly after, Will laughs. Jada, because Jada, it's a slow reaction from Jada. You gotta look at that too. It's a very slow reaction. It's not a. He says the joke, and as he's saying the joke, she looks away. It's says the joke, and then like a second or so passes, and then she rolls her eyes, looks at Will, and then Will goes up there. And it's like, it just, I don't know. That's where I can see a conspiracy, where like Jada was involved just to get some steam going. Because I don't know. I don't feel like Will is that kind of person who would willingly sell himself out. That's just me. Like he got mad about After Earth. If he's mad about projects that fail, why do you think that he would do that? So I don't think Will was involved. I think it was a hit, and he was trying. And there was people on the Daily Wire. Yes, there are times where I watch the Daily Wire because there are topics on there. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But this is one thing I don't agree with him on. She reacts more. Yeah, I agree with that too. So I mean that could be the delay. But on the Daily Wire, I need water. On the Daily Wire, they were talking about how, oh god dang it, I lost my train of thought on that one. Oh. I don't remember what it was. They talked about something about it, and it set me off. God dang it. But anyways, that's my opinion. That like on that this conspiracy, it's my opinion on the slap. I think it's time to let it die. It's been a week. Will Smith apologized. Oh, that was it. It was about the apology. He apologizes, he cries, and then he goes to the after party like nothing happened. Well, what are you supposed to do? Like brood and like mope and just be upset the rest of the night? No. Like you have to, you go and have a good time. And that's where I didn't understand. They were like, well, he hits Chris Rock and then feels bad about it, but then apologizes to the Academy and not to Chris, and then goes to the after party and acts like nothing happened. That's kind of what you're supposed to do. That's the only way I can put it. And then this whole thing is going around where the Academy tried to get him to leave. I don't believe that for a second. I really don't. I think they're just trying to tell a narrative to kind of go with what's happening, which is everyone hates Will Smith right now, and they want to be like, well, we tried to get Will to leave. We really did, but he wouldn't leave. We'll call the cops. Get him off the property. Do something if it's that bad of a thing. So it's just it's weird. It's odd. But that's enough of talking about the slap heard around the world. Let's talk about the bet. Not Robert Pattinson. I would love to talk about him. I love that movie. It's really fun. What I want to talk about is news about the DCEU, the Flash. Exactly. Going back to that, I agree with you 100%. It would look weird. It would be very weird if he just left right afterwards. Yeah, just I swear, people are trying to paint a narrative to make him look bad. And it doesn't need to happen. It's between two grown men. Yeah, it was on national TV. It was on the worldwide TV. Sorry, worldwide. Let it go. Let it die. Let it die. But anyways, we got news a couple days ago that the Flash has restored Batfleck in the DCEU. That Zack Snyder's Justice League has been restored as canon in the DCEU thanks to the movie The Flash. It's weird because we've been talking about for a while now that Michael Keaton was going to step in after this movie and take on and being the primary Batman of that universe. I've had feelings about it because I'm a Batfleck fan. I love Ben Affleck's take. Reminds me a lot of Kevin Conroy. Gave very much animated series vibe. The only thing I don't like about that Batman, it's not the Batman. It's what Zack Snyder did, killing off Dick Grayson. So if I've got some things that I would like to see, but let's talk about it. There's not a whole lot of information on it. Bro, welcome to the podcast. This is where this is the meat and potatoes that we talk about. I have a friend who has a lot of inside information who has been talking to me. Keith over at Pop Culture Minefield. He's been talking to me, and they're switching in a sense management. They're switching who's in charge, and who's coming in really wants to reestablish the DCEU. You gotta understand, the DCEU isn't just Zack Snyder. It's everything. It's Wonder Woman. It's it's Peacemaker. It's Suicide Squad. Like all that's all the DCEU. But what they were trying to kill was Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and the Snyder stuff. That's what they were trying to kill. But apparently that's not the case anymore. He does need solo. Like that's, bro. F that. He's in my top 3. If you take, so I love Pattinson. So if you take Pattinson, and then for me it goes. Pattinson is a wild card because he moves. Because I've only seen the movie once, and I've seen all the other ones multiple times. But when I first initially saw it, Pattinson went straight up to the top for me. I'd have to see it again to really figure out where he is on my spot. But if we take Pattinson off the list until I see the movie again, it goes Bale, Kilmer, Bale, Kilmer, Affleck, Keaton. Um, so basically, that's what that's what the plan was, and that's where I'm confused because they just wrapped Batgirl as well. Um, so basically, what they were going to do was use the Flash movie to rewrite the world. Dude, you'll like it. I mean, it's definitely different. Um, but they use it to rewrite the world. So what they were going to do was make a female Clark Kent. So not a Kara Danvers, but a female Clark Kent. They were going to bring in Michael Keaton as old Bruce, and then do a Batgirl movie, not a Batman Beyond movie. So he would since be the mentor to Batgirl, not the Terry McGinnis. And then so your new big three would be female Superman. Now I'm not gonna say Supergirl, but female Superman. Hey, at least Kilmer's up there. That makes me happy. Kilmer's up there. He needs more love. Anyway, so it would be a female Superman. It would be Wonder Woman, and it would be Batgirl. So we would have a female, big three. That's not what people want. We finally got a big three on screen, and it lasted for 2 movies. And now we're trying to go, force is female for DC, and it's just not working. And that's not what people want. Like this narrative that keeps happening is, in my opinion, like disgusting. And so they've pushed the movie back to next year. It was supposed to come out this year in November, but they pushed it back to next year for reshoots, for add-ons. And that's where I feel like, and this is where it's supported, they're changing things. That Affleck is going to stay prime Batman. It's not Power Girl. It's not Super. It's legit a female. I mean, I guess she'd be like known as Supergirl or Superwoman, but it's not Kara Danvers. It's female Clark Kent. And no, it wouldn't be Terry. It would be Barbara. So I don't know if you've seen the clips or not from the set of Batgirl. I'm actually excited for Batgirl. Who? Okay, I'm gonna ask you this: who are the established female characters though in this world right now? All we have is really Wonder Woman and Mira. Is that her name? Mara? No. Hold on, flip. It's Mira, right? Whoever the flip Amber Heard plays. But that's really all we have. I can't think of any other big female character that we have in the universe at the moment. In the film universe, not in the comic universe. But so they're from what I understand, they're trying to fix it to bring Affleck back, which makes sense if they're going with a Flashpoint story here. Going back to Bruce makes total sense. The Bruce you left, not the Bruce that you meet in the alternate timeline. Apparently, the pocket dimension is going to be where they meet Keaton. And this brings up a lot of questions for me. Being a huge fan of Batman Forever, being a huge fan of Michael Goff, being a fan of Chris O'Donnell Robin. Because DC has said that those 4 movies are canon in each other. Kilmer is Keaton's Batman. Kilmer's Keaton's Batman. So the thing is, it's fine. It's fine, but it's like you have to understand, and I think in doing this, I understand. Agree with that. I agree with that 100%. She an awful human being. Awful. No, but if that is true in that continuity, in that canon, then Keaton could come back because he's the same Bruce Wayne, but he wouldn't have the same Batmobile. He wouldn't have the same suit. Things would be different. He would have finally have had a Robin. He would have had a Batgirl. Alfred, I'm sure he's dead, and I want if they're doing that, because they are going to that world technically, or a pocket dimension of that world, then I want them to pay tribute to that Alfred, because I love that Alfred. I've always loved that Alfred, that Grandpa Alfred. So that's where it gets kind of dicey for me, because it's like, okay, if we're going an older Keaton, that's fine, but Keaton's Batman, even without Keaton, had a Robin. Keaton had a Batgirl. Keaton had a different Batmobile. Keaton, he had a different Batsuit. I get going back to nostalgia, because we know Keaton and they're doing the Batman Returns suit, but I get all that. It's just odd. So it's like, is this not Burton's Keaton, but like a different version of Burton's Keaton, to where he's not in the canon of those other two movies? Is it not the Burton Schumacher universe, and it's just like this weird subset of the Burton universe? There's a lot of questions there. You also got to keep in mind, so I know you don't want, it's kind of like Serena with The Last Jedi. You don't want to acknowledge it. It's true, though. Only reason why Kilmer couldn't do it because he was doing another film at the time. Yeah, I had this conversation last week. Alicia Silverstone is bae. She is the reason why I love Batgirl. Like, she was my Batgirl besides the animated Batgirl. Like, and to this day, I look back and I'm like, Hollywood was stupid. They called her fat because why? She wasn't fat. She was attractive as crap. It still is to this day. So it's just like, it's Hollywood stupid. But yes, like there are a lot of things that there's a lot of questions you have to ask. That if we're going back to that time, because then that also means that, like, what does that mean? Because there was also a theory at one point in time, that 89 Batman was in the Christopher Reeves universe. I don't know if that was ever fully canonized, but there's a lot of things that you have to answer in this movie, and if they're not answered, me as a fan of those four films, and I do say four because there's I said this the other day on Facebook, the kid in me loves Batman and Robin. It's a crap movie, but it's still fun as hell. You got to get past it. You got to get past the serious note. Just have fun with it. Why was her suit the only one without? Actually, they are there, but they're very subtle, because keep in mind, Joel Schumacher was gay, and he loved the body. And he wanted it to be this almost animalistic kind of suit. With Batgirl, they were trying to go subtle, but not so where they can get in trouble. Keep in mind, it's still that way today in society. Men's nipples are okay, women's aren't, like out in public. So it's kind of the same thing. We're in 1997, probably 96 when they filmed it. You're going to get a lot of hate for it. So it's still a kid's movie. So the movie's only good because of Arnold. And that's fair. Like, I'm not going to argue with you that Arnold isn't the saving grace of that film. For me, I love every aspect of that movie but Poison Ivy, because I can't stand Uma Thurman. I cannot stand her in that role. As a person, she's all right. As an actress, she's all right. But in that movie, I hate her as Poison Ivy. That's all it is. It's a fun movie, and I think we tend to forget movies are meant to be fun. And it's a superhero movie. I mean, Batman and Robin, it was the New Adventures of Batman and Robin, or it was New Adventures of Batman and Robin, or it was the next one. Because it was Batman miniseries, the New Adventures of Batman and Robin, and then they changed the name again for that final season with Tim Drake. And either way, they were just trying to keep up with the cartoon. That's it. What's the what about? Oh, Uma Thurman? Is that what you want? Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yo, you can hate me for it. It's my opinion. My opinion. I did not care for her Poison Ivy. No, I'm sorry, man. I'm. This is where we part ways. I'm leaving. Goodbye. I'm what? What happened? There we go. I'm joking. It's a matter of opinion, man. It's a matter of opinion. There's a lot of people who I know who will defend Clooney all day that it wasn't his fault. It was the script. So, point being, going back to it, it would only make sense that they reboot the DCEU, but not by eliminating Batfleck. I think that's the dumbest choice they could ever make. I think also the idea of like taking Henry Cavill out and like bringing in a female Clark Kent. I'm not saying female Superman. I need people to understand that female Clark Kent, basically Clark Kent as a woman. Why, I don't know. You could say the same for Will Smith, and here we are talking about Will Smith being a good actor. He does the same with The Rock. Clooney acts like Clooney. Okay, I get it. I 100% get it. I don't even have goggles on. I'm with you. I see it. I'm not saying, oh, he's an amazing actor. He is the best Batman ever. No, he's not. He's not even on my top 3. I'm just saying, shoot, look at Adam West. Adam West Batman is Adam West. So to me, that argument doesn't stand. And again, it was a commercial. Clooney hates the movie. Clooney even said it was probably one of the worst movies of his career. So no, dude, I get it. 100% get it. I don't like Uma Thurman as Ivy. Ivy's one of my least favorite characters. There's only 1 or 2 renditions of Ivy that I truly like, and that's Arkham Ivy, and that's Ivy from the Harley Quinn show. And I can't stand the Harley Quinn show, but the Ivy to me is like perfect, because in a sense she's kind of, her personality is part of the personality. Which, does Will act the same each role? Look at it, man. So he kind of does. So when I say he acts the same, I want you to think about this. Think about this real quick. When you watch a movie with an actor who's in a lot of things, are you able to be like, that is a character or that's the actor? Kevin Hart, majority of the time, is Kevin Hart. I cannot say that Kevin Hart is any different. There's some movies where he's different, but it's Kevin Hart. A great example, Michael Caine is a great example. You watch him in different movies, you're like, well, that's not Alfred. That's this character. That's not Michael Caine. That's his character. Peacemaker is another great example. I don't see John Cena. I see Christopher Smith when I watch that. But if I were to, when I watch Suicide Squad, that's Deadshot, but I know it's Will Smith. When I watch iRobot, like, it's Will Smith. He might have a little bit different flair to his characters, but it's kind of the same with The Rock. The Rock, in a sense, plays almost the same as that character every time. So there are a lot of actors who do that. There are a lot of actors who can change it, who are able to dial into that. But 9 times out of 10, actors that we like tend to be not one note, but definitely they're not chameleons, and that's okay. That's part of it. As long as they can tell the story in the right way, it's fine. You don't have to be a chameleon. But I think it's a difference. Are you a chameleon or are you an actor? That sounds weird. That sounds like a very weird question. People will be like, that's a stupid analogy, or a stupid question. Because an actor should be a chameleon, but that's just my opinion. You got to think about it. I don't know if that was a question for you, but if you think about it, those were 2 of his first movies. Not his first movie was a movie he did with, I think, Whoopi Goldberg. He was a very small role in that, but those were 2 of his first movies where he was the lead. And you got to think about it. in Independence Day, he was playing a soldier in the Air Force. And then in Men in Black, he was a cop. And I want you to think about that too. Like, look at a lot of his movies. And so, not like The Legend of Bagger Vance, like that's a different type of movie. But if you look at I Am Legend, he's got them serious moments. He's got them serious moments, but when he gets mad, he gets mad. But I love that movie. I said that earlier. No, I get what you're saying. Okay, all right. I don't need to go forward with that, but you get it. So it really. We were talking about Batman. Gosh darn Anthony. We were talking about Batman, and it just I truly believe that the Flash is being reshot to not destroy the DCU, but to fix it. And what I would love for them to fix is the death of Dick Grayson. I would love to see a Nightwing movie. I would like to see something in that world that we can finally get like a Bat family story. I think that would be smart. It's not been fully done. They started it, but then that movie flopped, and so they never continued it. And we've got so many members of the Bat family now that it wouldn't hurt to actually do it. If you know what I'm saying. If you get what I'm saying. Like, it wouldn't hurt to actually have, a Nightwing, and then have maybe a Red Hood. Like, I think it would be a great storyline for a Batfleck movie. Would be you're good, man. I don't mind it at all. Normally when I do this, no one talks to me, so having this banter back and forth is great. I love it. But no, it's I really want there to be this thing where, like, what if he wasn't dead? What if Robin didn't die? He just thought he did, or kind of like with a Red Hood story. But I want that Dick Grayson story because he always gets crapped on every time, and I would love to see as much as I love Jason Todd and Titans, I'd love to see a Red Hood story that wasn't so long and repetitive and had nothing to do with the Scarecrow. My God. And then see a Tim Drake, and then finally see a Damian, like, or you maybe don't go with all the Robins, but then you would have like a Duke Thomas as the Signal, or you could get Cass Kane or Stephanie Brown. Like, there are so many characters in the Batman world at this point in the Bat family that we're not really getting. So they're doing both. One more question. I'm gonna read it out because I don't know if it'll pop up, I think. So what? All right. So answer your first question. They already are. The problem is DC is working on there is the Titans universe, which really only consists of the Titans and Doom Patrol. But even then, they were like, Doom Patrol isn't canon anymore, even though they've crossed paths. It's weird. They've got the Arrowverse, or the CW like universe with Flash and all of that, and then they've got Peacemaker, which is a part of course, the DCEU. I think honestly they should go that route. I do agree with that. I think they need to stop putting too many different like plans in the Arrowverse. It's lasted long enough. Find a way to end it. Stop extending it. And then, which I guess now it's canon because Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin had their moment years ago where he showed up on the Flash. So they've crossed that path already. Titans universe, I love it, but they need to figure out something with it that's better. Because last season had a lot of issues with the Jason Todd story. So yeah, I agree. I think they need to work on. They need to figure out where they're headed. They need to figure out where they're headed in their DCEU story, and then from there they could build on shows. I think they've got HBO Max as their platform. Use it. Okay. So also, what is? Oh, so I don't know if it's still canon, but Zack Snyder said on Twitter, this was a couple years ago, that the Robin who died in his mind, his plan was to be Dick Grayson, which makes a lot of sense because if Dick is not, listen, don't do that. If Richard is not in Bruce's life, it would make a lot of sense on why he got so jaded, and so dark in Batman vs Superman, because we even kind of see it. Yeah, he kind of got into a brood mode with Jason, but it wasn't as bad because Dick was there, and then Tim showed up. But if his first Robin died, and it was the Robin who would keep him the sanest, the Robin he loved the most, it would make a lot of sense on why he became the way he did. So it works, but I would love for them to fix it because my boy needs another shot on the big screen. But yeah, that's what it was. He sent out a tweet a few years back saying that was the plan. And that's why there is no other Robin, because he couldn't do it. But yeah, it is 4:30 pretty much. So I'm gonna bounce. Oh, I was gonna talk about the trap. The trap basically. So originally the title of this video was the slap, the bat, the trap, and the trap was talking about Jada. But yeah, man, that's really it. This is where I'm gonna end it. I've been streaming for a little over an hour. Counting the last before the big old issue that I had with my internet. I was streaming for a little bit there. But yeah, I'm gonna go. So yeah, Anthony, thank you for tuning in, my dude. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm gonna go.